Hello, Mr. Brown here, your science teacher. I make science videos for students of all ages. Today, gather the family together. We are exploring the geologic timeline. Let's get started. All right, so you have seen timelines before, but the geologic timeline is one of the most epic timelines. This one goes all the way back to the beginning of the Earth. Let's take a look. Oh, would you look at that? A young star is born. Thermonuclear fusion has taken place. We will call this star the Sun. All right, look at that. It's a baby picture of our solar system. Look at Saturn doesn't even have its rings at this point. That is adorable. All right, well, what do we have here? A couple bits of dust, rocks, and pebbles are forming into a planet. And this is young Earth. This time period is called the Hadean era, and it is violent. Look at the violence going on this young, mushy planet. I say mushy because it's mostly just liquid rock at this point. Are there any living things on this planet? No. Poisonous atmosphere, liquid magma, oceans, meteor bombardment, solar radiation, lightning storms. This is no place for living organisms. But during this time period, it's a great time for the Earth to differentiate. That means the heavy metals such as iron and nickel will sink down to the core, and the lighter elements such as rock will float up to the top. All right, let's give this young planet a little time to cool down, and we'll come back in the Archean period. All right, we're back on this young planet, and things are cooling down. Take a look at this. We've got outgassing by volcanoes, forming a primitive atmosphere, and the very first raindrops are beginning to fall from the sky. The water cycle has begun. Nice job. Now, I'm seeing those little puddles of water there. Let's get a little closer look here. Let's take out our microscope, and living things, those are bacteria. How did bacteria form on this young planet? Well, that's a good question. Nobody knows. It's one of the mysteries of science, in fact, but I figure maybe someday we'll figure it out, right? In fact, in the 1950s, scientists Miller and Urey tried to figure it out by using an experiment, and they wanted to know, could life be formed just by the stuff that was there on early Earth? Well, they ran their experiment. They didn't create life, but they did create amino acids, this little brown goop here. And that's not life, but it's the building blocks of life. So we'll come back to that question in the future. But regardless of however life formed, we know that it was bacteria that were the original life forms on this planet. And as soon as bacteria are here, life begins, and evolution by natural selection begins. So let's come back a couple million years later, and let's get a closer look at this timeline. There we go. All right, we are in the Proterozoic period, and wow, natural selection has been working. Jellyfish and a couple of other little organisms going on in this early ocean. Let's give life a little bit more time to cook. We are coming back in the Cambrian period. A lot of stuff goes on here in the Cambrian period. We have creatures and coral going on, and a new development called hunting. Yeah, predator-prey relationships begin in the Cambrian. Here you see an early predator going after its prey. All right, we are moving on into the Ordovician period. Let's come back and take a look at what is going on with life. We have cephalopods, we have different types of sea creatures. I think that's a trilobite, and things are evolving nicely here in the Ordovician. Let's give it a couple more million years and come back during the Silurian period. And we see life is still evolving and got a couple new developments. Those fish there have a new thing called bone. Yeah, bones make their appearance during this time period. And let's take a peek at what's happening on land. Plants. We have plants forming. Would you look at that? Nice job. All right, let's move on a couple more million years into the future. We have entered the Devonian period, and fish are going strong. Some of these fish have begun adapting and evolving to live on land. That's right, we're seeing the first amphibians. Look at that. All right, we are moving on a couple more million years into the future. The Carboniferous period, which is subdivided into the Pennsylvanian and the Mississippian. But what goes on here in the Carboniferous? Well, we have the very first creatures that have taken flight, insects. We have the first forests. We have some of the very first reptiles. And we have a really rich oxygen atmosphere. So rich that insects are able to grow to enormous proportions. Look at that millipede looking thing there. Here's my son and I laying down next to one of those little millipedes. And what happened to those forests? Well, today those forests are what we call coal. It powers America. Nice job, Carboniferous forests. All right, moving on into the Permian period, and things are going great. Forests are growing, reptiles have appeared, we have amphibians, we have insects, we still have fish. Everything's going great until the Great Dying. At the end of the Permian period, we have a massive extinction. It's so bad that almost everything dies out and goes extinct. Almost everything, but not quite. We move into the Triassic period, and let's see if life has recovered. It has. The reptiles have made it through, and they have evolved a new hip structure. We're going to call these new reptiles dinosaurs, and they're going to take over this world. And this world is actually connected. This is the time period where all the continents are mashed together in what we call Pangea. And the dinosaurs continue to evolve into the Jurassic period. You've heard of that before, Jurassic, right? Okay, so the Jurassic period, a great time to be a dinosaur. Hey, what's this? Some of these dinosaurs are evolving feathers and wings. Yeah, we start to see the very first birds evolving here. Also, let's take a closer look at some of that undergrowth. I see something moving around. It's almost like something's hiding in there. Who are you? What are you doing down there? Why, some of these mammals have evolved hair in live birth. We start to see mammals. This mammal here is feasting on a young dinosaur for lunch. All right, we move into the Cretaceous period, the last period of the dinosaurs, and we see evolution going crazy. Predators are getting bigger. The prey are evolving defenses. This is the world famous T-Rex against Triceratops battle. But also something new in the Cretaceous, flowering plants. Here we see Archifructus, one of the very first flowering plants. I wonder if that guy's around today. Well, look on the dinner table, black pepper. That's Archifructus. Here it is, millions of years later, and we use it for black pepper. That's cool. All right, the Cretaceous moves on. Everything's going great until we get hit by an asteroid. 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs go extinct at the end of the Cretaceous, every last dinosaur. So long, fellows. But we move into a new era, the Cenozoic, and we'll enter the Paleogene. Birds made it through, mammals made it through, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and with the dinosaurs gone, it is time for the mammals to take over. You see mammals entering all these different habitats, mammals being herbivores, being carnivores. We see mammals up in the tree. That's right, those are called primates. Those guys look interesting. We'll come back to you in a little while, primates. And some mammals have taken to the water. These will go on to become whales. All right, let's let evolution cook for a couple more million years and return back into the Neogene period. We see types of mammals called marsupials are really doing quite well. We see a little scene here that isn't that much different than what we have today. Actually, we see some giant birds evolving. It's almost as if dinosaurs are trying to make a comeback. Almost. Let's check in on our pals, the primates. Let's see how they're doing. Well, they're doing quite well, actually. Look at that. Family groups are forming. Okay, that's fine. Well, let's move into the Quaternary period and let's see what the world looks like now. Well, let's see. We're suffering through a few ice ages. I've got woolly mammoths, woolly rhinos. I've got saber-toothed cats. But I'm kind of interested in those primates. Let's see what they're up to. Are they developing tools? Interesting. Hey, why don't you try developing pants there, guy? All right, we keep moving. We are in the Pleistocene era. I wonder how those primates are doing. They have gone on to create a new technology called stone tools. Right here, they're butchering up a rhino. Wow, stone tools. Is there any stopping these primates? Let's find out as we enter the Holocene era. The Holocene epoch. We'll come back to these primates and weapons. They have developed weapons, and it looks like one of their tribe has died, and they are performing funeral rituals. Wow, ritualistic behavior, planning, imagination, engineering. What is this species capable of doing? Let's fast forward to the present day today, and this species has evolved into humans, Homo sapiens. Look at those builders. In fact, here we are from space looking down, and they have populated all across the continents with their electricity and their technology. In fact, humans have spread their technology all over the solar system. Look at all of the traces of spacecraft all over the planets, the moons, and even Voyager 2 has succeeded in leaving the solar system. Nice job, humans. All right, thanks for joining me today on an epic journey through the geologic timescale. See you soon.